Michelle Yeoh, unarguably the biggest star in Blood Origin, rose to international fame because of what two movies?
Hi, welcome back to our channel. This week we are going to be discussing The Witcher Blood Origin. But before we get into it, we want you to click, smash right there, and like and subscribe, please. And yes, we'll get right into it. Hi, how are you, Gary?
I'm doing great. Today we're going to be talking about The Witcher Blood Origin. I'm sure Henry Carvell's sitting in the sidelines scratching his head over this one. They're saying it's the worst review original series on Netflix. I don't know. Yesterday I looked at it and it was 40%. Today it's 31%. It's actually dropping. So by the end of the week, who knows where it'll be. The audience score, I'll tell you what I thought in a minute. I'm very easy on movies. The audience score is like at 50%. So it's like hit or miss, right? It's like half the audience liked it, half didn't. Maybe it's because of the profanity, which I thought was kind of fun, that they just every other word they have to throw the F-bomb in. And I'm a very jaded guy, so I'm not going to say even I was shocked. I wasn't that shocked. They went overboard, and I thought it was kind of funny, right? And then the violence was over the top. Everything about this movie was over the top. They had very few known actors, but I really enjoyed the guy who played the original Witcher, the elf, right, who becomes the Witcher. And I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Michelle Yeoh, of course. She was like the only big star in it. And I thought all of them were very, as far as these parts were concerned, they're all very good. You know, I like the small people are fun, aren't they? The little dwarf girl, or whatever she is. I thought she was good. I thought they were all good. Now the storyline itself, I thought was, just the side of ridiculous. But and anytime you start with a flashback, you're like they always say, you're automatically in trouble, right? And they start with a flashback. They kind of frame it with the I don't know why they felt the need for that, to frame it with this guy, with the what's those guys called that play the lutes and everything, the singer who tells the stories, the bard. Yeah, the bard. Why they have to frame it with the bard and that other elf or whatever she was at the beginning, or goddess, whatever she is. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. And did it add to the story? Not really. It just kind of told you that we're still in the Witcher universe, right? But they could have done that with just a scroll, like in Star Wars or something. Right. So anyway, but I can talk more about it, but let's first get your opinion.
Sure. So I'm the amateur. So unless something really hits, I forget about it like the next day. Honestly, I liked it. I did enjoy it when I was watching it. I mean, I watched it pretty quickly, and I liked Michelle Yeoh a lot. I believe we call them little people. So I really like the little person. I don't know her name, but she was really great. I love her. She's funny.
Did I say little people? I said little people, right?
I think you said dwarf.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't mean to say that, but I think in their universe, they're using that word. Yeah. She's using dwarves and elves and all that stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dancing dingle dwarf.
One time when I was teaching, so yeah, I mean, Michelle Yeoh was great. The little person, she was fantastic. The bard was, I mean, the woman that played the bard in the flashback, the prequel, whatever. Again, I guess I didn't care enough to really look up their names because I really didn't care that much. So I enjoyed it, and that's about it. I don't really have much to say about it. So
yeah, that's it. It was a frivolous. But The Witcher itself, I've played the game. I've read the first one of the little books that was everything's based on, which the Netflix original Witcher was based on, which I thought is a much better show than this one. I don't know. Is this it almost borders on the line of what they call shovelware. They use that term in I don't know, in marketing and in gaming and stuff. Shovelware just means you're just making it just to make money, to capitalize on the original Witcher, and then just make some more money, right? So I think it really borderlines on that frivolous shovelware, but I enjoyed it. Sometimes I love that shovelware. Not so much in the gaming when I'm a gamer, but just in as a movie, it just silly. And I thought that the show actually got better as it went along, right? And the last episode I thought was pretty good. It kept, in fact, of the last, I would think the last half of the no, because there's only 4 episodes in this show, folks. So the last half of part 3 and all of part 4 were the best parts of the show, right? The rest of it was just kind of building to that. So it's a short, easy time investment. It's frivolous fun. If you like fantasy and you're not bothered by a lot of profanity and violence, then this show is for you. If you just want to spend a few hours of mindless fun time, right? Watching some silly show, this is definitely it. Now, as a serious piece of fantasy fare, I don't know. Maybe in time, people will grow to like it more. But at this point, you know who did like it, which is interesting? The Guardian, the British newspaper. This guy loved it. He thought it was the best thing ever. He thought it was so much fun. He said he loved the profanity, loved the violence, loved the whole storyline. He just loved it. So I think that's the British newspaper, right? So it's again we seem to both like it. What would you, as far as a Big Glass review? I forgot to even say our name. Oh, this is Be There, Seen That, the Big Glass review, and I review usually with a glass of water. So for me, I'm going to go back to what was the White Noise. I'd give it about 60%.
Yeah,
because
the same.
Because I enjoyed I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the violence and profanity. I shouldn't say that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It was over the top. I like over the top stuff. Now a lot of people don't. A lot of people are just immediately turned off by anything that they just can't I don't know, understand, or they just don't get it, or they just, I don't know what the issues are. But it's like that movie Barbarian. I was reading some reviews on Barbarian in one of my little Facebook pages on movies, and man, there's so many people hated that movie. They thought it was stupid, it didn't make any sense, la da 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 da, on and on. So I mean, there's no second guessing how people feel about things, right? Me, I'm very easy on movies. I always try to look for the positive side of it. And I was do I need to join getalife.com? I don't know. but as it is, like when I was retired, I was hardly able to even watch movies because I was so tired all the time. And I drive by a movie theater and I look over at the marquee and I go, oh, that looks like such a good movie. But I'm too tired to go, and I just go home, right? So now that I'm retired and I have plenty of extra energy, besides doing my other activities, I like to watch movies and I like to talk about them. So anyway, so this movie I enjoyed. I thought it was fun, but to each his own is all I can say. So I give it 60%. I think we both give it 60%. And
what did you think of the princess with her gigantic eyes?
She was interesting. She was loathsome too. She definitely but again, both those characters, her lover, the elf lover, and became the Witcher, and spoiler alert, and yeah, at least it sets up the but we're kind of they were tragic characters, right? It was basically a tragedy,
Mhm.
the story. And I don't know. I thought she was, yeah, had a very interesting look. They're all very well cast. I don't think there was anybody miscast in that at all.
Right.
The head mage or whatever that guy is, the evil magician. Yeah, he was pretty nasty, right?
Yeah.
But he was also, but they're all like accessible. They weren't like, you know, and they could I kind of understand where they're coming from, when they did their actions. So it wasn't a terrible movie, I mean, at all. I don't know why
No.
it's getting such horrible reviews. Now, maybe people, and it set up the whole Witcher universe. It tells you how the Witchers became, where these monsters came from, all that stuff. It definitely explains everything. And they say it sets it up for the season 3 of The Witcher, but I'm not sure. I get what that setup is, to tell you the truth. I know that the Bard stuck in some, and I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen season 3 or season 2, right? That I can't remember what the ending was of season 2. I just know that the Bard stuck in some battle there, right, with the elves and everything. But it's interesting, first there were the dwarves, according to the storyline, it seemed, and then there were the elves came in afterwards, and then after the elves, the humans came, right, because of the split in the dimensions or whatever. So where the hell did the dwarves come from? I mean, originally, right? So it begs the question. And then how did the elves get there, and where did they come from? I guess you can go back and do stories on that, right? So anyway, it opened up some questions about the whole universe, the Witcher universe. And I haven't read a lot of the books. I played maybe part of one game. I can't even remember the name of that Witcher game. So my knowledge of the Witcher universe is very limited. So, and it could be that the people who didn't like it have a very strong,
Yeah.
So when you have a very strong knowledge of something and then you see something, you go, oh, they did a horrible job doing that, or whatever, right? But as a person from the outside, an outsider who just kind of looking at the Witcher universe every once in a while, I quite liked it. So that's as far as I can go with my, about as much as I can talk about today about the Witcher, unless you have some other question about it.
No, I do. Oh, I do have one more comment. Just the costuming, especially her costumes, the princess,
Hmm.
Empress. Her costuming was, and her makeup was fascinating to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Costuming in general, but
Right. It looked like a fairly, well, the budget couldn't have been that high because it's basically all costumes, and then I guess green screen, and the CGI is not cheap though, so you can't say that. But in general, it was fairly sparse, right? Even the palace was very sparsely furnished.
yeah,
It's just a bunch of walls and floors and a couple of guys standing around in uniform, right? And then when the crowd would gather, it was like 5 people in the crowd, right? I say, well, this is a small crowd. It's supposed to be a big city. You saw the size of the city, right? Like in Game of Thrones, you got mass populace, thousands and thousands of people are standing around, watching the beheadings and whatever is going on in that show. And this one, you got 5 guys standing out there. So it wasn't, you have to say it wasn't your big budget show, but again, it was entertaining. I was entertained. Are you not entertained? Right. So, for me, and that's all I've got to say. I'm sure other people, might have despised it because I see the low reviews. But that's our review. We both kind of liked it, gave it 60% or partial. Before I go, I wanted to say I apologize to the internet, because this is new to us, and sometimes I discover I say things that they're not true. It's like I'm starting to learn a little bit about journalism. If you can't, you got to check your facts, right? For example, I was saying the popsicle people, but it's not the popsicle people, with the actors with the big heads and the little bodies. It's the lollipop people because they have the big heads and the little bodies. That makes more sense, right? Lollipop people. And then Adam Driver not being a combat veteran. I did put a caption on it saying that to correct that statement. He was a veteran, but not a combat veteran. So unless he was on some secret mission or something, I don't know, that we know nothing about. So other than that, that's our review today. Thank you for stopping in, and like and subscribe and smash those buttons.
Michelle Yeoh rose to international fame in Tomorrow Never Dies and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.